Hey, this is Brainwaves and I'm gonna show you how to make bass music like DENNETT. This whole project file, as usual, is available on my Patreon along with many others, so feel free to check the link in the description if you want to get it, and let's get started. So the BPM for this project is 140. The drums by themselves, they sound like this. And they consist of a kick, a snare, and a couple layers of hi-hat loops, and this is very important for the groove of the drop. Without the hi-hat loops, you're gonna notice a big difference. So the first one is this one. Second one is this one, playing at the same time as the first one. And then for the response section, I have this hat loop playing with this one. So to show my point, I'm gonna play the drop without the top drums. This is nowhere as interesting as if I put the top drums once again. It just gives it like a ton more movement to it. So yeah, pretty important. So going into the synths, the first bass is this coil bass. So that's made in Serum, and I'm just gonna mute everything to show you what's going on. So I have a sine wave that has like a little bit of FMing from B, or phase distortion, I think it's called now. And I have a main tuning modulation looking like this with 4% in the value. Now I put a harmonic series on the oscillator B, level around 25%, wavetable position 9, and a bright noise on the noise oscillator, and this is going directly out, so it's not going through the effects. 39% of volume. Then I put some hyperdimension, and basically, you know, the distortion, it's what's giving it its texture. And check that I have like a pre-filter applied with this specific frequency and this Q. And the multiband compression, it's what brings the sound up and loud. So that is the coil bass, and then in the second half of the drop, I just change the wavetable position to 18, and I also change the frequency. In here, as you can see, I have a macro, and now that frequency has changed to somewhere around like 800, I think. So that creates like a nice variation of the sound. You can see that I am also ducking a little bit on the frequencies that are a little bit resonant. So in the first half is around 400, and then in the second half is around 800. Besides that, I'm just boosting around 5k, but that's the sound. Not too difficult and very like clean sounding if you ask me. Now for the response bases. That's what they sound like, and I'm just gonna once again just mute everything and show you my process behind the sound. So in the first oscillator I have a sine wave. I'm modulating the level with this LFO, and you'll notice that this LFO goes to a lot of different things, so it's very important. Then I have FMing or phase distortion from B, and I have a harmonic series once again. Wavetable position is at 3, and I have it 1 octave up, and also modulating the level. Then a dedicated sub oscillator in here, not touching much in there. Then this third oscillator, this goes directly out and goes to the bus 1. And in bus 1, I'll just mute all of this. So yeah, that's how it sounds without effects. And then for this third oscillator, I have these values in here. Then I put a AC hum noise oscillator with those values. And now let's jump to the effects. So in the main effect tab, I have some hyperdimension, some tube distortion, multiband compression, really bringing the harmonics out and the tone and texture that I was looking for. Then this filter just helping with the movement being modulated to the LFO. And then some reverb also being modulated by the LFO. Now the second bus, something important is that the second bus is going directly out, so that means that it's not going through the effects on the main bus, but just going directly from these effects to, you know, directly to the speakers. So in there I have a hyperdimension. Remember that that first bus is just applied to this oscillator C, so it's not affecting anything else other than this oscillator. Then tube distortion, post filter mode, compression multiband, filtering, pretty similar to the one that I showed before, reverb, and then just an EQ cutting the low end. And for the second part of the drop, I'm just changing the wavetable position. The wavetable position of the harmonic series, and in here it's 6. And then I just have an EQ just boosting the sub and cutting around these areas for the first half. And around these areas for the second half. Just, you know, putting the EQ where the resonant frequencies is, depending on the position of the harmonic series wavetable. Yeah, besides that, I just have some bass fills. So these are some samples of mine. They have like a good amount of reverb in there. That has some amp and erosion. So without that, with it, then that repeats. And then on the second half, I'm just using this rack of mine called Easy Wumps. If you're on my Patreon, you have access to this. I'm not gonna go through it because there's a lot of effects going on. But yeah, if you get the project, you will also get the rack. So this one is created with Vital, by the way. I'm not using Serum, I'm using Vital for the rack. So yeah, just to show you a little bit more of that rack, you can create many different sounds. I have many sounds in here and I have some presets that you can use. So yeah, just wanted to show you that real quick. Going into the last section, which is just this vocal sample. Sounds like this. Has a little bit of reverb with my reverb return tracking here. And I'm just cutting everything below like 150. And that once again is helping a lot with the groove of the track. So without the vocal sample, with the vocal sample, it just gives it like extra rhythm. But yeah, that's all for this one. As usual, this whole project file is available on my Patreon. I'm doing one-on-one coaching and mixing mastering gigs. So if you guys are interested in that, reach out to me or check the link in the description. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I hope I see you around.